I'm certified financial planner David Somerville here at Capital Wealth Management. I'm joined on today's show by Mr. Neil Thornton, who's the president of the Thornton Group. Neil, thanks again for staying for an extra session. Business, business, business. Let's talk right now about those that are getting into business and those that want to build their personal brand. So you are kind of the personal brand guy. So give me your thoughts on personal branding, Neil, when it comes to business.
But let's talk about the importance of it too,
Okay.
because everybody right now is, how do I stand out in a crowded marketplace? Everybody's doing the Me Too. And I think about you, David, everything you've done with Capital Wealth, and you and I have known each other for years. You just have this brand now. And you were talking about it a moment ago. It's not necessarily, it's not what you're known as. It's what you do. It's what you do for people and all the different options that you provide people. That is your brand. And I think the definition of the brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. How do people know you? Like if I asked you, what do you want to be known as in your market? What would you say?
Somebody who took a holistic view, took a full 360 view of the client, wasn't focused on a singular product or pushing a product or a stock or a bond, but looked at my debt, my cash flow, my family, my financial plan, my emergency plan, looked at my estate, my legacy. Like for me, Neil, is in the financial world, there's about 9 spokes on the wheel, right? Most of my competitors are focused on one spoke.
Sure.
I do investments. What I think I do is I can create empowerment.
That's what you know.
Financial empowerment from a wealth perspective.
It's
right?
not thinking.
And touch multiple areas.
It's knowing. So what would you want people saying about you? If someone said, tell me about David Somerville, what would they say?
He was thorough. He was honest. He was engaged. He cared. He didn't let things slide.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to a doctor and I do a blood work, I want to know what my blood work results are within a week or two of my blood testing. I don't want the doctor to forget about me, put it in a file for 9 months, and there's an issue. I want to be kept on top of things. So for me, it's about delivering value, and delivering best outcome.
Right. Do you know how many people struggle with that question? Professional business people, what do you want to be known as in your market? People struggle with that. So if they struggle answering that, unlike what you just did, that's the importance of branding. Know what it is you want to be known as in the marketplace and stop going back to it. Get very clear. 23 years, I influence every conversation I have. That has been my vision and my personal brand everywhere I go. And there's honesty there. I lost my filter a long time ago, right? I'm very honest and direct with my clients, but that's what they want, right? They don't want a fluffy coach. They want like a business partner.
But you know what? It's easy for you. It's easy for me. It's not that it's easy, but 20 or 30 years later, after reading hundreds of books and taking hundreds of hours of seminars and coaching and doing the things, like it's part of your DNA. So these new entrepreneurs that are starting out, how do they build their personal brand?
Well, they figure out what they want to be known as, and then they create the gap in the marketplace. So like for me, what I'm finding now with executives and even entrepreneurs, they know everything about their business. They now want to know, how do I read a room? How do I study body language? How do I read comfort, discomfort cues, open, close? How do I run a meeting where people aren't staring at their phones? I think it's all about power and influence now. And that's why I wrote the book. It's because I'm finding that's what people want.
Do you think people actually that are in sales or they're in business, some have it, they get on stage and they can play in front of 1,000 people and it works, right? They're powerful, they're engaging, they've got a great message. And there are those that struggle in front of people. I mean, they've got a great message and they've got a great product, but I think if you've got to work on some of those presentation skills as well. Do you find people today are lacking that comfort or that confidence when they do work?
Yeah, a lot of people want to stand out. They want real strong coaching on their presentation skills. But David, I've seen a lot of great introverts that will pull up a chair amongst a team and just speak with sincerity and honesty. And that can be as powerful as standing up on a stage. But it's being willing to be different, right? That's the biggest killer right now in 2023, is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Now is the time to reinvent. What you're going to find moving into a recession, coming out of the pandemic, it's the companies that will lead change the quickest, right? Darwin said it's not the strongest nor the fastest of the species that survive, but the ones most adaptable to change. So if you have that lens that I see this as an opportunity and I'm willing to get fear and ego out of the way and just do something every day that scares you, that's a classic entrepreneurial rule.
What's a brand killer? What kills a brand?
Ego, brand killer, or not listening to what people are
Ego
saying.
which way? What do you mean ego?
Just thinking that you're smarter than you are. If you and I both know, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
And every time I meet you, I walk away and I learn and I grow, and it's having that humility. The ego, when you think you know it all, that's when you're done, right? Always having the ability and willingness to learn.
I love the old line from Tony Robbins, and he said, he calls it KANAI, constant and never ending improvement.
Yeah.
Right. Every single day you try to get better. One of the things I do every single day is when I lay in bed at night, before I fall asleep, I say to myself, what were my 3 greatest wins today?
Yeah.
Right. And I look at my 3 greatest wins for the day. So one of the wins would be, of course, seeing you today. And then I lay in bed at night and go, okay, what are my 3 big wins going to be tomorrow? Right. So you start thinking about putting together 3 wins. I tell my son, who's off at university,
right,
just win the day. Right. So if you're in business, win the day, make those 3 or 4 extra phone calls, do more than your competition. Kobe Bryant always said that, most basketball players would get up and practice in the off season twice a day for an hour and a half, whatever it may be. He would practice 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And he said, I just did a bit more than anybody else. And the results eventually come to
But David,
fruition.
what you've done is you've done the right programming. That's the Buddha. With your thoughts, you make the world. When you go to bed, you think about that day and the next day. When you wake up, the moment you wake up, you're now thinking about living that commitment, the 3 things. Most people wake up and see lack. They see what they don't have. Oh, it's Monday.
Wow.
That's a death in business. It's waking up, oh, it's awesome. It's Monday.
Right.
It's just mindset.
Well, I think the big thing too is that at the end of the day, you've got to be grateful for what you have, right? And it's funny because I always tell people that you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can be angry, you can be upset, you can be pissed off, or you can be grateful for what you have, right? And gratitude. Every day, I myself too. I read a book years and years ago. It was called The Power of Gratitude.
Yeah.
And I have this little thing in my car. I call it my gratitude rock, right? And every single day I drive into the office and I think about all the things I'm grateful for and what I'm blessed to have.
Yeah.
And then regardless of how the day goes, I have greatness in my life. I'm grateful for what I have in my life, right? So Neil, can I ask you a quick question? So a lot of people out there are trying to grow their business. They've got to have the right mindset. They've got to have the right thinking. They've got to read. I did say to my kids, if you, let's buy a book, let's read 10 pages a night. Every single day, read 10 pages. That's basically one to 1.5 books per month, depending on the size of the book. You'll read 12 to 15 books a year, 150 books over a 10-year period.
Right.
And of course, if you put that along with great people around you, you're going to have greatness and success. But people today, I find, need to read more, listen to more coaching, listen to more podcasts, get great content. But then when they have that, they want to look at, let's say, a way to build their brand is you were mentioning is you use LinkedIn as a great tool.
Beast.
Maybe just talk to me a little bit about how to use LinkedIn and how to kind of gain the real power from LinkedIn.
Well, the first thing you do is you create a digital strategy. So it's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Pick the platform, right? But the reason why I like LinkedIn is because it's a business to business platform. I'm a business consultant. Naturally, that's where my market is. But I look at SEO. I look at reach. So I've got just over 6,300 connections on LinkedIn.
Right.
109 written recommendations. To me, that's brand. But what happens is when I create content, video, written, this podcast, you share it. Right. I've got 6,300 connections. You pick that up and share it or comment on it. Do you realize that goes in front of millions millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the math a long time ago. I read Jeffrey Gitomer, The Little Red Book of Selling.
Okay.
He said the future of business will rely on its database and how you communicate with it on a regular basis. That's LinkedIn.
Mm.
Now, LinkedIn is Facebook without the nonsense and the
Right.
pizza shots, right?
Right.
And then Instagram is a whole different beast. It's younger, quick video. You got to be on there. But I find I've been so successful using LinkedIn by just sharing insights. And people often ask me, what are ideas for content? And here's a classic tool that was shared to me by a colleague I worked with a number of years ago. He said, answer the top 20 questions you get asked. Answer them. Sit down, write them out. Top 20 questions you get asked. Your content answers those questions. Then you pepper that in with testimonials, what people say about you. See, that's the most important part of LinkedIn. When you say it, it's bragging. When your clients or your market say it, it's proof. So just say you took a piece of content and made a comment on it to say, hey, I really respect Neil's insights, and the writing that he's doing.
Right.
That's the credibility that people are looking for. And it's actually not that hard to build it.
So now that you're a world famous author, you've probably sold hundreds of millions of books in 16 different languages, and first edition, second, your book. Tell us about your book real quickly.
Yeah, so I wrote Presence, Impact, and Influence, and it's really based upon what I'm being asked by people is I need to lead change. I want to be able to be a better speaker. I want to be able to set vision for my team. I want to read nonverbals, body language. I want to work on my vocabulary. So I created it similar to when you read it. I created it as a reference tool that people can go to on a regular basis, just to have a stronger impact on people. And I think that's what most people are looking for.
No, great stuff. Neil Thornton, again, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. We had Neil on probably about 6 months ago. So if you want to go back into the archives, you'll find the first edition of Neil Thornton on It's Your Wealth, the podcast. But buddy, thanks again. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Okay.
Love you, man.